All right, people, we are 2 days before the action at AT&T Stadium, better known as Jerry World, the college football playoff semifinal, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, Arlington, Texas, between the Crimson Tide of Alabama and the Cincinnati Bearcats, coming up on Friday, 2:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff. ESPN will have the call on the matchup, but you're rocking and rolling with the Fun Gang, the Fun Bunch, the #1 show for all things Crimson Tide football news, notes, and entertainment. That being, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, bringing this to you right now from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming to you the show on YouTube. If you haven't done so already, smash that subscribe button. Hit subscribe right now. Get your friends to subscribe. Run those likes up. Give us a thumbs up. Hit that like button. Turn all of those notifications on. Hit that little bell so that way you can get all of your news, notes, alerts, coverage, all that you crave on the Crimson Tide. You can get that right here. Got you covered on Facebook and Twitter as well. Shouts out to us as the family, the TDA Blue Ridge Gang family. We together, we're now 22,000 subscribers strong on the YouTube channel. Appreciate all of you guys making this your show, your family, your program, your network, your space to talk Alabama football. We got a lot to get to today. We got my man Richard Slotty Pippen Mullaney, 2015 College Football Playoff National Champion for your Crimson Tide, coming on here a little bit later in the show. We're going to also be taking your phone calls, 205-448-1358. That's the number right there to let your voice be heard. Ring those phone lines and let that passion ooze through. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Daily Super Chat goes $75. Appreciate you guys. But before we get into the first topic of conversation, definitely from John Ivory, myself, Stephen M. Smith, and the whole Touchdown Alabama Magazine family, our deepest prayers, thoughts, sympathy, condolences go out to the family of John Madden. And we lost more than just a football icon on yesterday, but we lost somebody that was just a man amongst men, somebody of whom you could not say the word football and not think John Madden. I mean, this was somebody of whom he was a legendary coach for the Oakland Raiders in the 70s, won a Super Bowl in 1974, and when you talk the Raiders, there are 4 names that come to mind when you look at the silver and black and what that franchise represented. And those 4 names, Al Davis, John Madden, Ken Stabler, and Fred Biletnikoff. And, of course, with Madden, though, I never got a chance to know him as a coach, but as a broadcaster, just incredible. And then his ability to keep that relevance with the patented EA Sports Madden video game and touching generations and touching cultures and touching lives with that game. There will never be another John Madden. There will never be another icon, man, influencer, somebody that made the game of football more than just action out there on the field. So definitely our thoughts, our prayers go out to his family as we lost John Madden yesterday at 85 years old. But we get into now topic number 1 here of the conversation on the show. And John, I remember Monday we were talking about Alabama's wide receivers, Cincinnati's defensive secondary, of course. That's been one of the bigger conversations throughout the week in terms of matchups. But we had a listener write in, Stephen, but what about Alabama's secondary? Can we look at Alabama's defensive backfield? Can we break down the Crimson Tide? And I thought, you know what? Let's get into that because that needs to be addressed as well. That needs to be touched on also. So when you look at this, I got a chance to speak to Todd Blackledge, ESPN Todd Blackledge, on Monday. He had a Zoom webinar with reporters, and Blackledge, he and Sean McDonough will be calling the game between Alabama and Cincinnati on ESPN. And Blackledge mentioned how there were 2 areas that he felt like Cincinnati could attack the Crimson Tide and have success and can be a challenge for Alabama. One of those 2 areas, of course, we know with their secondary against Bama's wide receivers. But the second thing he pointed out was Cincinnati's receivers against Alabama's secondary. Blacknich really likes the Bearcat wide receiving core against Alabama's defensive backfield. But when you look at one Pete Golding here for just a minute here for Alabama, as much criticism as Golding has taken from national people, local people, fans in general, you look at Pete Golding, in terms of the numbers, he has done a fine job with this defense, especially as of late. Alabama defense still is among the top groups in college football in various statistical categories here. So when you look at this group in terms of scoring defense, giving up 20.2 points per game, that's 18th in the country in the top 20. You look at Alabama's total defense, giving up 306.1 yards per game, that's 8th in the country. You look at the run defense, giving up 82.2 yards per game, that's 4th in the nation. You look at Alabama's third down defense, giving up a percentage of 31.9%. That is 9th in the nation. Alabama's even 3rd in college football for sacks, which being with 46. And that's crazy because when you think about it, Alabama had 54 sacks in 2016. The defense people love so much, 54 sacks. Pete Golding has his group with 46 sacks, not far off from that 2016 unit there. And when you also look at Coach Golding, he's produced a 100-plus tackler in Henry To'o, 102 tackles from the year for Henry. Will Anderson has 92 tackles. He is 8 away from being the second guy for the Crimson Tide to have 100-plus tackles in the same season here. So, Pete Golding, for as much as people like to criticize him and throw stuff at him, he's actually done a firm job, a fine job with this defense since the Texas A&M matchup. But getting into Alabama-Cincinnati here, the Bearcats do have some good weapons at wide receiver. They got some guys that can go up there, go get it, attack the football. We can look at Alec Pierce, Josh Wiley at tight end. They've got guys. They got dudes. Tyler Scott also. They got dudes that can go up there and get the football. They got about 5 to 6 receivers that have caught at least 20 passes from Desmond Ridder. At quarterback, Alec Pierce is the leader of the group. He's got 50 receptions, 867 yards, and 8 touchdowns. But to me, I think the biggest name you pull out is the tight end Wiley at 6'6", 250 pounds. This is somebody that will be looked at as a high draft pick for the 2022 venue. He's got 6 touchdown catches on the year. Alabama's secondary has had some issues with tight ends in the past, especially this season. Jalen Weidermeyer of Texas A&M. That matchup, Weidermeyer 3 catches for 73 yards, had the touchdown there. Aggies got the 41-38 win over Alabama. And then in the SEC title game against Georgia, Brock Bowers, the freshman, 10 catches for $139 and 1 score. So Alabama against tight ends got to zero in on Josh Wiley, limit him, his success, his production, because Cincinnati is going to look for him, whether that be on third downs, whether it be on crossing patterns, whether it be in the red zone. Really, really good in his route. So keep your eyes there on Josh Wiley at tight end. But as much as we, look at and pump up the Cincinnati secondary here, the Alabama secondary has gotten better, has been strong as of late. Since the LSU game, this group has turned up. When you look at Jalen Armour-Davis, of whom has practiced all week, according to Pete Golding, will be able to play. Now, I still think Kyrie Jackson starts in this game due to the practice reps he has gotten throughout this time in bowl prep. But, Jalen Armour-Davis shares the team lead with 3 interceptions, the most consistent corner, according to Pro Football Focus, with a coverage grade of 82.2. We have seen Brian Branch step his game all the way up. DeMarco Helms has played some of his best ball in matchups against Auburn and, of course, Georgia. Jordan Battle has played better down the stretch here. You got so many guys that have stepped up, that have played well. Malachi Moore has practiced all week. Hopefully, we're going to be able to see him out there on the field. So this defensive secondary has been better. This defensive secondary has improved. We're looking at 15 interceptions for the Crimson Tide, including 3 returned for touchdowns. So as much as people talk about Cincinnati as much as people pump up Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant, and both have played well, but you still have to look at this Alabama secondary. This group, this defensive backfield has stepped up, has gotten better, has gotten stronger. But there are two major keys here to this game for the Bearcats in terms of how can they be successful offensively against Alabama. Number one, will they be able to run the football and establish some balance here with Jerome Ford? And I get it, Ford, former Alabama running back. He does not want to be labeled as the Alabama transfer. He is a Bearcat. So the Bearcat here at Jerome Ford, over 1,200 yards rushing this season, 1,243 with 19 touchdowns. He's had a good year. Great year. But once again, you're going up against a run defense in Alabama that is 4th in the nation, only giving up 82.8 yards per game. So for Cincinnati, will it be able to establish the run game? Will it be able to establish some type of balance here with Jerome Ford on the ground? That's going to be a question, because the one thing about Nick Saban defense is they like to make you one-dimensional, take away what you do best, and force you to beat them with one hand tied behind your back. So that's going to be a question. Another thing would be Desmond Ridder, the quarterback for this team in the Bearcats. And Ritter's had a good year. I mean, over 3,000 yards passing, 3,190. He's got 36 total touchdowns, 30 passing, 6 rushing. He's a 2-time American Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Veteran, confident guy, but he does have 8 picks. He does have 8 interceptions. He's been known at times to put the ball in harm's way even as a senior. And when you're playing against an Alabama team that still feels disrespected, that still feels slighted, that still feels like people are not putting the reverence on their name here, you can't afford to put that ball into harm's way. So the big thing for Desmond Ridder is, will this young man be able to protect the football out there on the field, especially when he's facing an Alabama defensive front that is going to come after him? And when you look at Will Anderson is going to come after him. Dallas Turner's going to come after him. Fadarian Mathis going to come after him. Christian Harris, I can see Pete Golding using a lot more of these blitzes, going to come after him. There are going to be guys on this defensive front that are going to come after and on the attack here of Desmond Ridder. So can the young man be able to protect the football, not put the ball in harm's way, getting the ball out to the playmakers for Cincinnati? Because while everybody is making the conversation about Cincinnati's defense and the elite of the defense, how marquee it is, how dominant it is, the playmakers on that group, and they've got playmakers on that group. I look at this Alabama defense since the Texas A&M game. This group has gotten better. Since the Texas A&M, since the game against the Aggies, they've gelled together, they've bonded together. We've seen improvement. We've seen big-time production. In the SEC championship game, you talk about holding Georgia to just 7 points in the second half. You're talking about holding the likes of Zamir White and James Cook at running back to basically nothing. And in the Iron Bowl, as good as Tank Bigsby was prior to the matchup with Alabama, Bigsby only had one big run in that matchup. So Alabama has shown it can stop the run. It can stop the run. For the defensive secondary, can it latch on to these guys, prevent a lot of explosive plays that are on the field, and then being able to get to Desmond Ridder, create some havoc, get some sacks, create some turnovers. That'll be the big thing right there. But as I just look at the secondary, I think this defensive backfield's got a chance to have a very good game, a very strong game, a very productive game. But folks, we're going to take a break right here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We are just getting started. People, upon our return, we go on the phone lines to take your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your conversations. 2 days until Bama, Cincinnati. We'll be right back to get to you guys after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, we are back in from the break to the action. Number one ticket here for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got my man John Ivory in the production studio. Want you guys to run those likes up. Smash that like button. Like the show. Like it up. Make this your show, your network, your platform, your space to talk Crimson Tide. Got some super chats to get to right now. And what better way to start the game off than with Jimmy, the bad man Clay, with that 50 piece in the super chats. Appreciate Jimmy Clay. And then my man Tobias from Fresno in the building. West side, baby. West Coast, baby. Tobias with that 50 piece on his end. And then we got my man Big Bill. Bill from New York, that $5 donation showing love here on the show. The daily super chat goal of $75 has been met. Appreciate Jimmy Clay, my man Tobias Brookins, and Bill from New York helping us out right here. John, before we go to calls, I forgot one defensive back's name. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Keep your eyes on him also on Friday. Kool-Aid about to show people why he was regarded as a 5-star recruit coming in the 2021 signing class. So definitely excited to see what McKinstry can do here on the field in terms of him being a defensive back in the secondary and latching onto these Cincinnati wide receivers. But we go to the phone lines right now to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in right there, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? What's going on? State your name and where you're calling from.
Well, I just thought I'd call in here it's Hump Day Wednesday. I just thought I'd call in here. This is old president calling in. I want to say, rest in peace, John Madden. I was a kid. I was 14 years old when they won their first Super Bowl in 1977 when they played against the Minnesota Vikings. I remember it well. I don't remember quite the score. It was 30s I think they were in the 30s. They won it again in 81. They were both the Oakland Raiders in, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in 84. I remember they changed as the Los Angeles Raiders. I think they beat the Redskins. I believe that's right. In 81, I believe they played the Eagles. So we want to say rest in peace to John Madden. He was a trailblazer icon. He was the best. He had a winning percentage of 7.31 when he retired. So probably one of the highest percentages there in 10 years and probably of any NFL coach in history, Stephen. But I wanted to get on here, say hello to the Blue Wrench Gang. I love all of you. Looking good. Let's get ready Friday for the ball game. All these donations, call-ins, messages. We love you. I love you. TDA loves you. And I was going to have you to make an announcement here, Stephen. I know you're going to be in Dallas on Friday. So is John and Justin going to do the live show? Can you announce that for us and tell us how that's going to go where everybody know what's going to happen on Friday?
Absolutely.
Be glad to do that. I've had several people call and ask me what was going to go on, so I just wanted to, let you remind you of that so you'd make an announcement for everybody. So, all right, I'm going to get off here. All y'all have a great week. What's left of it. Be safe on New Year's Eve night. Let's watch these ball games. Rest in peace, John Madden, and we'll talk to y'all on Monday, hopefully with a victory in their pocket and going to the national championship. I love all of you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate weighing in there for that call here, getting to start up on a Wednesday. So here is the deal here. We will not have In My Own Words Friday. Of course, I will be in Dallas, Texas for the matchup. But our own John Ivory and Justin Smith, they will be in studio Friday doing the watch party. So Friday, get in there on YouTube, check out the watch party, chat amongst all your friends. John and Justin will be here in studio Friday for the watch party. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
We're good, Stephen. Bill from New York. How are you doing?
Bill, doing great, man. How you feeling, brother?
We're good. We're good. First I want to talk about John Madden. Everything you said about him is true. I had the opportunity of meeting him once in the streets of Manhattan, at night, one night, and he couldn't have been any more cool. Just a wonderful guy. Now, in terms of the game, I keep getting these vibes. I think it's going to be unsung heroes on Friday. I think it's going to be Smith, Bolden, my man Dallas Turner, Trey Sanders. I think guys like that are going to turn the game around. And I'm getting really psyched for this game. Got to tell you a quick story about one New Year's Eve. My fiance, the greatest woman in the world, Diana, she said to me a few years back, "Hey man, you want to go to a wedding?" I said, "Yeah, I'll go." The neighbors were getting married, you know what I mean? So little did I know it was on a New Year's Eve and Alabama was playing Michigan State. Oh my God. Listen, there were no TVs in the place. So all I could do was watch on my phone and only get the play-by-play, not even I'm not watching it. I'm just seeing the play-by-play. So they're talking about, the announcers, the DJ, he's going, "Hey, here comes the groom and the bride, Carl and Dorothy." And I'm like, yeah, I'm going, "First down," and she got real embarrassed. I had to talk she got me out of there early too. We had to leave, and I had to talk my way out of that one for a while. You know what I mean? But she understood, because I'm talking about Roll Tide. And what I want to say to everybody, to you and everybody, Justin, I just want to say Happy New Year. God bless everybody, all of your families, and let's win this game. Let's keep on doing it. And I'm talking about Roll Tide.
Absolutely. Bill from New York checking in right there. Gotta love the stories. Gotta love the stories coming into the show. We take this call here. You're live on the show on a Wednesday, hump day. How we feeling tonight? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, see you there. It's Robert from Mobile.
Rob, what's going on, man?
I'm just, hanging out watching. I'm trying to fill my time with some of these bowl games. Goodness gracious, it's hard. The SEC has really been a disappointment this bowl season. And Auburn, goodness gracious, they don't do better. They're going to get slaughtered next year when that game goes back to Tuscaloosa. It's just going to be a bloodbath. But I can see, I still see Cincinnati keeping this game close. I just don't see how. Alabama's just got too much talent. If they try to take, double Jameson Williams and pull their safeties and corners back, then it opens up the run game and for our tight ends as well. If they come up, if they believe their guys can defend Jameson Williams and the other receivers on an island, all right, we'll see how that goes. We'll see if you think your guys can do it. Let's try that. When they get burned a couple of times, realizing, hey, we didn't see speed like this, then Bryce will light them up that way. So I'm just not seeing how Cincinnati can keep this game close for 4 quarters. I don't believe it. I'm looking for like a 52-17 blowout myself. And Alabama puts them away pretty early and pretty quick. I mean, I think Cincinnati had the fun. It was nice. You got to play with the big boys for a bit, but now it's time for you to get to your place and do better next year. I think it's going to be more like Notre Dame all over again. It's Notre Dame. Yeah, you look good playing against your pathetic schedule, but when you meet the big boys, then all of a sudden, okay, we're not as good as you thought you were, which is why he left Notre Dame, because he got tired of getting beat like that. And the same thing's going to happen in this case. Bryce is, won Heisman for a reason. He's going to show it again. And I look for Billingsley and Latu to get a lot of play in this game. And, if they're dropping the safeties in the corner to try to cover Alabama's receiver, it's going to open up the tight ends. And it's going to open up the running game. The only thing I'm sure Cincinnati will try to get their quarterback running, to do everything they can to get him 100 yards rushing. So Alabama have to watch out for that. But they haven't seen anything like Mr. Anderson either, and they're going to have to deal with this. Cincinnati's going to have to deal with that. So I mean, the only thing that worries me really is Georgia. A rematch with Georgia, because they get to play the real disrespect card. Their disrespect card is legitimate. Our disrespect card is kind of manufactured. When people really don't disrespect us, so we have to kind of manufacture it. Georgia's disrespect card is legitimate. They were called one of the greatest defenses of all time before they played Alabama. After they played Alabama, everybody's calling them overrated. So that's a huge disrespect card they're playing right now. And Georgia can probably ride that. So we'll see what they do with Michigan. If they get past Michigan, Alabama will definitely have to watch out. Wasn't a whole lot of plays in that game that falls Georgia's way. Hey, maybe that's a different game. Maybe it's a different turnout. If he doesn't throw, if JT Daniels or Stetson doesn't throw an interception here or there, maybe it's a different game. So Georgia's still a threat. That still has me concerned. But Cincinnati, no, I just don't see how. I just don't see them hanging for more than maybe 2.5 quarters at best before Alabama just puts on the Jets and excels past them the way the Road Run excel past the Coyote when he gets tired of him chasing them. And that's why I look way out for Alabama to do.
Appreciate Robert from Mobile. His thoughts. They're coming on the show here on a Wednesday. Before we get into the topic here, got a good question here from our listeners. Mike Nivinston writes in, is Chris Allen playing on Friday? I don't think so. I do not think he will be. I know Chris Allen has been working extremely hard in his rehab to get back out there on the field. Coach Saban talked about that. It's a tougher rehab due to the injury that he suffered, which was a foot fracture. I have not seen any video of him practicing, have not gotten any information on him practicing, him being out there. He could potentially come back next season and for another year. We will see what happens. But in terms of just this game, he pushed himself trying to get back out there. I just do not see Chris Allen playing on Friday. But appreciate that question, that thought that coming from Mike Nivinston, writing that in there. Going to this topic here, John, and this one goes to Alabama's assistant coaches, Bill O'Brien and Doug Marrone. They're both in Texas. They are both in Dallas, Texas for the Cotton Bowl. Bill O'Brien got down to the venue on Tuesday. Doug Marrone arrived today, so the coaches are down there. They're in, they're prepared, they're ready to go to work. The players are excited, they're happy. Of course, it was still good to have Joe Pendry, absolutely. It was still good to have Joe Pendry on field helping out the offensive line. Appreciate that, Joe Pendry. It was still good to have Holman Wiggins and Alex Mortensen and another guys collaborating there with the play calling while O'Brien and Marrone were away getting down there. But now both of those two are down there. So excited to see that. We're going to go to a break here, folks. If you're still in the call lines, hold through the next 10 minutes or call back in the next 10 minutes, because when we get back, we speak to the 2015 College Football Playoff National Champion for your Crimson Tide, Richard Slotty Pimpin' Mullaney. Richie Rich joins the show. You'll hear him after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Back into the action here, folks, on a Wednesday. 2 days before Crimson Tide takes on the Cincinnati Bearcats in AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas, for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl college football playoff semifinal. You're rocking and rolling with the fun gang. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, John Ivory, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. In my own words, once again, appreciate you, the fans, all of us as a family. 22 subscribers strong on the YouTube channel for us here at TDA. We did this together. Also, run those likes up, people. Smash the like button. Hit that like button. Make this your show, your network, your platform, your space to talk Bama football. But now, we go over to the In My Own Words hotline where we pick up one of the key cogs from the 2015 National Championship team. He came in as a transfer from Oregon State, and my dude did his thing. We're talking 38 catches that season, near 400 yards that season, 5 to 6 touchdowns. We're talking about Richard Slotty Pippin Mullaney. Richie Rich, what's happening, man?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We got Richard Mullaney here on the show, showing love here. We're talking Crimson Tide football. So, Rich, 2015, you were on that group down there in in Arlington, Texas, at AT&T Stadium, playing for the Cotton Bowl. Of course, Alabama got the 38-0 beat down over Connor Cook in Michigan State. But just being able to play in that stadium, what was the vibe? What was the prep work like? What was the intensity? Like, what were your emotions entering that game, going up against Michigan State, your first time taking part in this type of a venue for the Crimson Tide?
It was amazing. Just to be able to play in, a college football playoff is a blessing. But we actually opened up that year there, so we got the opportunity to already be there when we played Wisconsin. And we were used to the venue, the lights, Jerry World, the big screen in the middle of the thing. So we had that advantage, which was great. But going against a great team like Michigan State, being under the lights, being under that, being in the playoff, it was awesome. But we made sure it was just like a normal week for us. We didn't change anything. We just did our routine and just took care of business.
We're joined here by Richard Mullaney, 2015 college football playoff national champion for the Crimson Tide. If you're just tuning into the show on a Wednesday, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. So, Rich, offensively, because you're an offensive guy, it's going to be fun watching Bryce Young coming off the Heisman Trophy. What does he do in this game? What does he look like in this game? Jamison Williams at wide receiver, Bill O'Brien in the play calling that he's going to put out there. But just what has impressed you when you watch Bryce? What has impressed you when you watch Jamison Williams? And how do you see this team attacking this Cincinnati defensive secondary that has a lot of veterans?
What's been fun with watching Bryce this year is just how better he's gotten every single week, the tough games he's responded. I mean, shoot, the Auburn game and, the last drive, having, Jameson out and having to do what he was doing, leading on Mechie, which is huge. He had a great game, but then, also, I think it was a true freshman that got the game-winning ball. Just getting the ball in his playmaker's hands, but, there's never have been a too big moment for him, and he's always responded. And Jameson, I mean, that guy's he's different. Just his speed, his playmaking ability. He's going to have a long NFL career if he just keeps making the plays he's doing. And so, it's been fun to watch. But all in all, I mean, even the offensive line, where they were against Auburn, struggling, and then to go into a game like Georgia, who's supposed to be up front the best they've ever faced, and to do what they did, that's been fun to watch. And it just seems like, the offense and defense, just the team in general, is trending in the right way. But, they'll have a good test. Cincinnati's, they're no joke, no slouch. Like you said, their DBs, they're talked about as, some of the best out there. So it'll be fun to see, Jameson's matchup, but also to see, the young guys, how they're going to do and, who's going to step up.
You took great pride, Rich, in your route running, of course, when you're facing different defenses, especially in practice when you took on DBs at Alabama. But when you look at this particular defensive unit against Cincinnati's wide receivers, what do you look forward to seeing from Coach Golding and this defense trying to show that, we can really handle, our business here in this playoff? What do you want to see from the defense here in this matchup?
Just to be who they are. I don't think, I think that's one thing Saban's always, prided himself in and, prided us in is just like, no matter who you're facing, just be who you are, have your identity that you've built the whole entire year going into the game. And, when you have guys like Will Anderson, definitely helps you a lot. But, just keep being the team you've been and growing. And like I said, the defense, I feel like, has been definitely trending in the right direction going into, this game. So I'm excited to see that.
Now, before we've seen what the transfer portal has become now, Rich, we're joined by 2015 College Football Playoff National Champion Richard Mullaney on the phone lines. If you're just tuning in, played for the Crimson Tide that season, the 2015 campaign. But, Rich, before the transfer portal became cool as it is now, you made it that way. Like, you made it cool. You coming in here from Oregon State, I know you had to learn some things, figure some things out. But once you got it going, like, you really got it going. Like, big plays against Ole Miss, big plays against Georgia, big plays against Florida in the SEC Championship just throughout the entire season. 16 was out there doing something that had me go, what in the world? Where do we get this guy from right here? So when you just look back at it, does it kind of amaze you that, man, I made the transfer portal cool for Alabama?
Oh, absolutely. I wish they named it after me, but that's another thing we can talk about. But no, I mean, it's been an awesome thing just to see. I mean, obviously the transfer portal now is crazy, but even the year after me with Dieter coming in, I got to host him on his visit and, just talking to him about it, talking to him about my experience and stuff like that. I think in how Saban has, I think I was kind of the guinea pig for him just to see how it would work. And, I think it kind of, the guys that he's brought in is, it probably exceeded his expectations. And so now he's, using that as, helping in the recruiting thing. It's now a whole other aspect of college football that, he's killing it. I mean, just the transfers that they've had now and that they're about to get. So, it's cool to see how it's transformed, and, it's awesome to see, guys like Jameson and Henry, the middle linebacker, just, been succeeding and doing great.
He was the one that got it started here for the Crimson Tide in terms of that transfer portal. We got Richard Mullaney, 2015 College Football Playoff National Champion, join us live here on the show, breaking down some Alabama, Cincinnati in terms of this matchup on Friday, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl at AT&T Stadium. Rich, man, we appreciate you coming on, sharing some of your time with us, man. Take care of yourself, man. Be good. Enjoy the game, man. Have fun.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Roll Tide.
Absolutely. Richard Mullaney, 2015 College Football Playoff National Champion, on here just for helping us out here and talking about Alabama, Cincinnati for this matchup on Friday. We're going to go to a break here on the show, but when we get back, we return to the phone lines to get your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your interactions. We get back to you, the fans, after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian or Jameer.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
As we are back into the action here from the break, number one ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Everybody stay safe out there. I know we got some tornado warnings going on here in the state of Alabama, so be safe out there or wherever you are at this time. Also, hit that like button, run those likes up, like the show, smash the like button. Make this your network, your channel, your show, your space for all Crimson Tide football content, news, entertainment. We got Jimmy Clay in here with a $25 donation, showing love on the show. Appreciate Jimmy, the bad man Clay, helping us out here. We had somebody to write in about Kamar Wheaton. Kamar is fine. He's actually been doing some scout team stuff for Alabama. He's been representing Jerome Ford for the scout team and giving Alabama defense that good look there at Jerome Ford. So that's what Kamar Wheaton's been doing. I don't think he's going to play because he hasn't been medically cleared to play, but I believe he's doing some scout team things on the field at AT&T Stadium, helping Alabama prepare for one Jerome Ford. But we go to the phone lines right now to grab your calls, 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard, 205-448-1358. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Tide, man, checking in from Jackson, Mississippi. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, Tide, man. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, excited about Friday afternoon. Just so excited, man. And by the way, I love all your callers, but I really love Bill from New York. Every time I hear that New York accent, man, checking in from the Big Apple, talking Bama football, as knowledgeable as any of us down here in the Deep South are about the Crimson Tide. Love that guy, man. It's just credit to your show and your ability to reach people and fans all over the country. And I agree with you, man. When I heard about Joe Pendry being on the scene, I was like, okay, our offensive line is already like drastically changed in that SEC championship game. Now we got Joe Pendry back on the scene. Hey, I'm feeling very, very good. And I think the question is Bill O'Brien, is he going to pitch another game like he did against Ole Miss in Georgia, or is he going to try to get too cute? And I got confidence in him. I don't think he will. I think we're just going to line. They want to line, put three down linemen against our running attack. All day long. We might not even have to throw a single pass. So let's pound them into submission, and then force their defense to readjust and change, and force those defensive backs and other people's safeties to come up, and then just Jameson Williams all day long, and the rest of our receivers all day long. Trayshawn Holden, these other young guys, Agiye Hall, these other young guys who are eager, hungry, ready to make a name for themselves. I'm excited about this. And let me tell you all the fellow Bama fans out there, let's face it, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year. for us. And I know we don't have such a thing in our vocabulary at Alabama because every year we're hunting a national championship. But let's face it, even by our standards, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year. And yet here we are, SEC champions, hoisting another Heisman Trophy and playing once again in the college football playoffs. I mean, let's just relish the greatness of Nick Saban and his staff and what this program and what this process has been able to do for the past 12, 15 years or however long it's been now. It's absolutely incredible. And Stephen M., I wanted to ask you one question before I hang up. I want you to comment on this if you can. And the game is going to be called by Todd Blackledge and Sean McDonough. And those are personally my two favorite. That's my favorite team, announcing team on college football. I just love those guys. Love Todd Blackledge. Love Sean McDonough. Just go back and listen to Sean McDonough's radio call of the 2nd and 26 touchdown pass from Tua to Devontae Smith in the national championship against Georgia. That Sean McDonough's call was epic. It was second only to our own Eli Gold's call. I know people get down on Gary Danielson and Brad Nessler, especially Gary Danielson. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I'm not down on Gary Danielson. I'm one of the few Bama fans that doesn't have a problem with him. I think he just calls the game straight, sometimes almost to a fault, because he is so objective that he's going to inevitably irritate fans of both sides. And when both fans of both sides are criticizing him, I think that means he's doing his job well. I prefer Todd Blackledge and Sean McDonough because I just like their style, and I've always loved Todd Blackledge, even when he was a quarterback at Penn State. Loved his humility, loved his competitiveness and all that, and I think he really respects Alabama and Nick Saban. Anyway, I want to get your thought as a media, as somebody in the media, your views on Todd Blackledge and Sean McDonough versus Gary Danielson and Brad Nessler. And before I hang up, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy New Year. Y'all be safe. Have fun. Keep God, keep Christ first in everything you do. Roll Tide. Let's go get this natty. Peace.
Absolutely appreciate Todd, man, for the call there. I like Blackledge and McDonough. I really do. I like Blackledge and McDonough. Now, I like Gary and Gary Danielson and Brad Nessler too, though. You're not going to please everybody, and I've learned that early in my life. You're not going to please everybody. Some people are going to love you, and some people are not going to stand you. So it's all about finding your lane, what your lane is, and being comfortable in it, and being successful in it, and being confident in it. So you're not going to please everybody. Not everybody likes Gary Danielson, but Gary does his job. Not everybody likes Blackledge and McDonough, but they do their job. As long as you do your job, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But we got my man Tobias Brookins with that $20 donation. Appreciate the love from my man Tobias on the West Coast from Fresno. And is that Bill? That is Bill. Bill from New York with the $5 donation, helping us out here on the channel. We continue with phone calls here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling tonight? State your name and where you're calling from.
Jay from Sheffield.
Jay, what's happening, man?
Chilling, man. Hey, can you give me a update on Drew Sanders?
Well, Drew's good. Drew's been out there practicing all week since the bowl prep started, so Drew's good.
Okay. Can you how they gonna handle the whole COVID thing with Bill and the other coach? Like, are they going to be on the sidelines or what? Like, how this going to work?
Now, okay, so O'Brien and Marrone are both now in Texas. Now, are they going to have them both on the sideline? Well, all season, Bill O'Brien's been in the booth, and Marrone has been on the sideline. So I think they would keep it that way. Do they put both in the booth? We will see how it looks once we get to the field, as the media and you guys as the fans. But I think it would be Bill in the booth and Marrone on the field.
Okay, Steve, appreciate you, man. Love the energy, love the show. Roll Tide. My score prediction is 56-14 Bama. We're going to whoop their ass. I'm sorry for doing you so like that, but roll tide.
Appreciate Jay from Sheffield calling in 5614. He's got in favor of Bama. But yeah, I can see O'Brien upstairs, Marone on the field. But we'll see how Saban plays this out, though, in terms of the coaches. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Michael. How you doing?
Michael, what's happening?
Well, two questions for you. One is, so who's going to be playing alongside of Jameson Williams in the game against
Cincinnati?
The game they got coming? Yeah.
Well, who's gonna play alongside Jameson Williams? That would be that. Now, Trayshawn Holden is usually at the X position, the spot that Mechie holds. And then at the bottom of the formation, Bama's been working Ja'Cory Brooks in that spot. So I would say it would be Brooks and Holden with Slade Bolden kind of interchanged in there, but Brooks and Holden.
And my final question is, how do you think that defense will play with Toa and Will Anderson? And that secondary without Job, without Job, how do you think they play on defense, especially in the secondary?
I think they got a chance to play really well in the secondary. I mean, I know you never want to see an injury happen to any player, especially in the secondary, but I look at Alabama's going to have Jalen Armour-Davis back. He missed 2 games against Auburn and Georgia due to a hip issue, but he practiced all week, the most consistent corner. Now, I still think Kyrie Jackson starts opposite Kool-Aid at the corner spot. They'll probably spot play Jalen Armour-Davis, but I think the secondary, Will Anderson, all those guys are going to play well. But appreciate Michael for that call there. How about Mechanic with the $25 donation in the Super Chat, showing us love here on the show. Appreciate that coming from Mechanic. But I think the defense is going to play well against Cincinnati. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you're calling from.
What's going on, Steve? This is Elijah calling from Jersey. How you feeling tonight?
Doing great, Elijah. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm hanging in there. And I just wanted to get a little bit off a topic and talk about these bowl games. I think it's time for college football to get rid of the chicken pot pie bowl and the Car Quest bowl and the grandma's turkey neck bowl and all these crazy bowl games, man, and just extend the playoffs to 8 teams, because now the way college football is, at the end of the season, what's happening? You got a whole bunch of kids transferring. So you're not seeing the same team that, played all year long, the quality of all these great players, the All-American players. Then you got a whole bunch of kids that's saying, these bowl games don't mean nothing. I'm sitting out. I'm preparing for the draft. I'm not even trying to go out here and get hurt and ruin my stock, which I understand that. If you got a guy that's going in the first round, what's the sense of him playing in the chicken pot pie bowl? He ain't gaining nothing from it. So he better off sitting out and working on his draft stock and trying to become a better player. But I just feel, man, it's time for them, college football, to say, let's push this playoff thing to at least 8 teams. That way, because you hear a lot of teams right now between 5 from Notre Dame going all the way to Oklahoma State, all of them saying they should have their chances to be in this playoff too. And maybe, I don't know how we do it, take the championship game up out of it and just start a 3-week playoff system. But some of these bowl games, you turn around looking, half the quality starters ain't even there. Like I was looking at Auburn. They talking about they had 9 players that's out. And now you throw in COVID on top of it, it make it even worse. So let me know what you think about these bowl games, man, because this is getting crazy. It look like sometimes you're watching a high school team out here. Then they take Rutgers and throw them into a bowl game because Texas A&M can't play. Like Rutgers probably ain't practicing 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What good is they going? I mean, how good are they going to look at a bowl game? You know what I mean? Let me know what you think, man.
I mean, Agiye, good points there. I mean, these are very valid points, and this is an argument that so many people along the national landscape they've been having this argument. Stretch the playoff to 8 teams. You look at a lot of these bowl games are not fun to watch. They're not sexy. They're not appealing to look at on TV. And I watched the Birmingham Bowl between Auburn and Houston got the win there, even though I thought, maybe TJ Finley could have done something there for the Tigers, but it is what it is. But I do see where a lot of people are coming from when they say, let's stretch this playoff out because nobody's trying to watch the Papa Doc Bowl. No one's trying to watch the Dollar General Bowl. No one's trying to watch, take your grandmother to the altar and leave her there bowl. Whatever bowl they got there on the calendar, no one's trying to look at that because with the playoff system has taken everything and has made it about the playoffs. We're trying to get more teams in that as you possibly can. But I see the point there. Appreciate Elijah from Jersey there for that call. Appreciate his thoughts there. We go to this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you're calling from.
How's it going, Steve? This is Tobias calling from Fresno. How's it
What's
going,
going on,
man?
West Coast, man? What's going on?
Oh, man, just blessed. God is good. Merry Christ Mass. It's just been a wonderful season. I pray your family has been well, sir. And just everybody is just in a spirit of gratefulness, man. And I just want to compliment you as always. Just being just keep leaning into being a real journalist, sir. And a great commentator. Our journalism now is almost extinct. People don't study. People don't read. So people get up and just say whatever, and then it ends up sticking, and it's a stupid idea. So I appreciate you, man, for your journalistic expertise. I love when you get to ask a question in those meetings. I'll be waiting. I said, man, when's Steve gonna get his question? Because I know it ain't going to be one of these dumb questions that some of these journalists ask football players. I'm like, man, can we get some meat? But anyway, so, man, just keep doing what you're doing. I support the show. And the last caller, man, I can understand what Brother Man is feeling like. But I would say, as somebody who played in bowls, man, have a lot of meaning to the kids that work real hard all year to get an opportunity, to go to a place, get some swag bags, have a little good time and all of that. What the reason why everyone is feeling like they're feeling, Stephen, and this is just my humble opinion, is we've let these liberals in the sports world ruin college football for what it was. The bowl system, there was nothing wrong with the bowl system. They decided they didn't want to see no Alabama LSU rematch. They were trying to upset at the SEC. So they said, we don't want the BCS. We want to see human eyes determine it. That's what they said, Steve. You know that. You were around when all of that was going on. So then they switched it to the 4 team. They said, we want to have the eye test. Well, guess what? Football is not just about the eye test. That's why we play the game. Because if it was about the eye test, you can give Alabama the championship every year. Just give it to us before we play a game. No, you still have to play the game. Because football is a game of inches. So by them doing that, of course, now we have what we have, and that is kids opting out, saying, well, these other bowls, they don't mean anything anymore, so I don't need to play. So we created this beast, and now we're saying we have to extend it. Well, I want to ask everyone out there, look at the top 12 teams. You tell me which one of them teams above the 5, actually above the 6, that would do anything in a playoff system. Stop that foolishness. We can play games. We can have 50 games a year, and it'll be basketball. So, yeah, maybe you would win 3 out of 100 because football is a contact sport. But anyway, what I called in for was not that. I wanted to say that this Friday, man, this is an opportunity for Alabama to write a new story, because it is a new story. Because this was a rebuilding year, and I listened very keenly into what Bryce Young was saying. He said all those other teams were great, but we got to write our own story. I listened into that. I listened to Will Anderson saying, "Oh, we the one that's been disrespected." I listened into that. DJ Dell today, he said, ever since I was a young child, I dreamed to be in this position. Unlike that Texas A&M kid talking about some people dream to go to Alabama, but I dream to beat Alabama. I mean, you know, that's that you see why we where we at and where other people were there. So I'm interested to see what we write, because what we put on tape matters. I agree with the other caller like 4 calls ago. That game, go back and look at that SEC championship game. I heard some Alabama fans saying, we beat them down. No, it was a game of inches. It really was. It was a game of a few mistakes. We made the plays we needed to make. And I would say in this game, we cannot have turnovers. I remember when we were riding the Tua train, and for good cause, but I was always worried, because I'm like, this boy like to hold the ball too long, and he's not safe with the ball. And sure enough, when that national championship came around, he threw that pick 6. I said, oh, Lord, it's going to be a long night. So I'm just hoping that Bryce Young stays in the pocket, keeps his cool head like he's been, no turnovers. The other thing, too, is I looked at I went back and checked out B-Rob, and I'm glad he's back healthy, because he can really make some money for himself and kind of improve his draft stock. And I tell you who else, Christian Harris needs to put some money in his bank, because this Jerome Ford, we knew it when he was at Bama. He the real deal, y'all. Sorry, he the real deal. So we can't have no big plays. So I'm assuming that Golding is going to shut down the run, make them beat us by passing. They're going to bracket Pierce, who's their outside everything. They're going to bracket him, and they're going to give this Riddle some looks, some exotic looks that's going to get him off timing. I have a question, and then I'll take it off the air, man. But check this out. If Bama beats Cincinnati, which I thoroughly expect them to, I don't know if it's going to be no 50-2 or something like that, but I do believe that it'll be in the upper 40s, depending on how Saban, you guys forget sometimes Saban will take his foot off the gas, and it will be for good cause, because all we need to do is win the game. And we play an early game, and we would definitely want that rest while those two giants on the other side, Michigan and Georgia, play each other. But, Stephen, I don't know if you said it already, but who would you prefer Bama play in the national championship? Georgia or Michigan? Roll Tide. I'll take your comment off the air, and I'll throw some more in the chat. I just got paid.
Appreciate that coming from my man Tobias Brookins, giving his thoughts on the show. Who would I prefer for Bama to play, Michigan or Georgia? I would prefer Michigan, just due to having a chance to play against Aiden Hutchinson, great young man, but knowing Will Anderson should have been in New York for that Heisman. And anytime you get a chance to play against Jim Harbaugh, that's really, really good. So I would go Michigan. I would be fine with either or, but my preference would be Michigan. But we continue with phone calls right here, 205-448-1358, number to call in. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you're calling from.
Curtis from Mississippi.
Curtis, what's happening, brother?
I was just thinking, if Alabama beats Cincinnati again, I got a feeling it's going to be Alabama and Georgia all over again.
I can see that too. I can see that too, Curtis.
I can just feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it in my body. It's going to be Alabama and Georgia all over again.
And I don't know, a lot of people want to see that matchup again. That because Alabama been dominating them every time. They just Nick Saban is just the best coach of all time. They're gonna go down in history as the best coach of all time. And Kirby just can't beat him.
He's having a hard time doing it, Curtis. He's having a hard time getting over that hump when it comes to Coach Saban. We appreciate Curtis there for that call out of Mississippi. We'll see. I mean, to have Bama, Georgia again would be interesting, of course, for the narrative, for the storylines, for the revenue, for the TV ratings and what have you. But just me, like I said, I would prefer Michigan due to you got two traditional powers going at it, right? Will Anderson would have a chance to show on the field why he should have been in New York for that Heisman, and then just playing Jim Harbaugh. You gotta enjoy being able to go out there and just play Jim Harbaugh and knock out Jim Harbaugh. That's just me, but it is what it is. Guys, shout out my man McConaughey with that $25 donation in the Super Chats. Appreciate that love coming from McConaughey. And then Elijah with that 20-piece in the Super Chats on his end. We appreciate you guys making this your show, your channel, your network, your space to talk Crimson Tide football. Now, for me, it's going to come down to Bill O'Brien in this game offensively. What does he see within that first drive? Because, like you guys have mentioned, calling in, you could either go at Cincinnati, attack that defensive secondary, test Sauce Gardner, test Kobe Bryant, or do you put this on the offensive line, on Cohan and Evan Neal as left guard and left tackle, and run this ball with Brian Robinson and Trey Sanders? What does Bill O'Brien do within that first drive, within those first few possessions there of the first quarter? That will be where my attention is. But transition to this topic here, how about Jalen Waddle, the first round pick, number 6 overall pick from the 2021 draft by the Miami Dolphins, the native of Houston, Texas. So many people are up for NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, but I think Waddle should be near the top of that list because what a season he has had. He set the single season rookie record for the Dolphins in terms of receptions with 96 and yards at 941. He has surpassed the mark of 883 receiving yards by a rookie that was set by Chris Chambers, former Miami Dolphin wide receiver Chris Chambers, in 2003. So big upset of Waddle. Huge job by him. He's having a great year, having a great season. Had 10 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown on Monday against the Saints, and a 20-3 win for the Dolphins. Waddle tied Jerry Rice's mark of 10 catches for Monday Night Football back in 1985. But we grab a call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from. Live on the show, caller. Well, we lost that call there. We got this call here, though. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Charles? Calling from Demopolis.
Charles is back. Charles, what's happening, man?
Nothing.
What you got for me, big man? What you got, Charles?
Nothing. I'm feeling pretty good. I just had some eggnog.
Just had some eggnog, Charles.
Yeah, I think they put a little bit of gin or vodka or something in it, so I'm feeling kind of good right now. I think that Alabama going to take Cincinnati probably.
Hey, right, I'm right with you, Charles. I'm right with you. I think Alabama going to take Cincinnati too. Charles from Demopolis calling in. Charles is really enjoying that post-Christmas. Got some eggnog or vodka going there. Like, Charles is really enjoying that post-Christmas there, working on that new year there. But go back to what I was mentioning about Jalen Waddle there. His 10 receptions against the Saints on Monday Night Football tied the record for Monday Night Football for most receptions there. He ties that with Jerry Rice from 1985. So rookie record there in terms of catches on Monday Night Football. But we got some super chats here before we take this break. Jimmy Clay again, boom, baby. Bam, Jimmy the Man Clay. That $25 donation helping us out here on the show. And we got here, say a prayer for Vonda. So not sure about say a prayer for Vonda here. So definitely thoughts and prayers out for Vonda right there here on the show. But we grabbed this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are you feeling tonight? State your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Stephen Smith. This is Spencer, also known as Homegrown Cowboy from Sulphur Springs, Texas. You ready for some football?
Absolutely, Spence. I'm ready for some football. I'm ready to get this new year started. It's Bama, Cincinnati from Dallas, Texas. I take the plane tomorrow morning. I'm pumped, man.
Let me tell you something. We're not even supposed to be here. We lost half our starters last year. Okay? We lost half our starters last year. We made it to the playoffs. That's what Will Anderson is talking about, disrespect. You got the whole team from Cincinnati who's been there for 6 years and should be in the NFL, and they're going to play us. Second deal here is that Alabama is ready to play these guys. We're ready for them. There's a guy on Twitter that brought up a good point, and the Cincinnati Bearcats mentioned that they were wearing black uniforms. That's going to be our funeral. Well, when was the last time we played somebody that said that it was our funeral? The Georgia Bulldogs in 2008, and what happened? We tore their butts up. All right? We're going to win this game. We're going to win it. We're going to win it. Everybody take care. Good talking to you, Stephen Smith. Talk to you later.
Appreciate Spencer for calling in. And just all week, the energy from this Bama team is they know Cincinnati's good, but not taking this team lightly. And there is a confidence. There is a demeanor. There's a focused demeanor with this team. Whether it's been Bryce Young, whether it's been Will Anderson, whether it's been Cameron Latou, which today a reporter asked him, what do you do for fun in your downtime? He's like, we're watching film. We're breaking down film. We're bonding. We're getting ready for a game. We're getting ready to win. That's fun. So you even seen the focus off Latou's face. But when Will Anderson got there, he mentioned there's no cancer on the team. Everybody's locked in. Everybody's focused. We know what's at stake. It's win or go home, and we're not trying to go home. This team has a really locked-in mindset, and it's going to be fun to watch this group on Friday. But we take a break here, folks, on Touch That Dab. When we get back, we tidy up loose ends, providing you an update on wide receiver Agiye Hall. Is this finally the moment for Hall? The coaching staff has been speaking some real high things about this young man. Is it finally the moment for him to have his heyday on the field? We'll talk Hall and other receivers after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
As we're back into the break here on the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. This is why I love the Alabama football nation. This is why I love the fans so much. So John Ivory has just sent me this text of the made-up bowl names that you as the fans have come up with, and I was chuckling my heart out over the break. So we're gonna, oh my gosh, we're gonna go into some of these made-up bowl names right here out of your favorite. So we got Robert Gaines, he's got the Toilet Bowl. We got Nick Saban Jr., the Chili Bowl, sponsored by Saltine Crackers. We got Plow Jogger 1776 with the Cheez-It Bowl. We got DJ Gunzo, the Larry's Chicken Tender Bowl. We got Plow Jogger again, the Tibetan Book of Dead Prayer Bowl. We got Peconic with the Cow Patty Bowl, just for the barn, being Auburn. We got Nick Saban Jr., the hand sanitizer bowl. We got Roll Tide 2021, the Bobby Boucher Mud Dog Bowl. We got Willie 351, the Bourbon Bowl. We got Eric Thomas, the Sisters of the Blind Bowl. We got Aaron McGuire, the Clorox Bowl. We got Roll Tide and Rise Up, the Chitlins Bowl, the Chitlins and Rib Tip Bowl. Chitlins and Rib Tip Bowl. Tony Johnson, the Listerine Bowl. Man. We got Willie 351 with the Touchdown Alabama Bowl. I mean, wow, you guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. Got me cracking up. Man, I'm sweating too hard here right now. Y'all got me cracking up right now. I think the best one, John. I think the best one. I gotta go with Nick Saban Jr. with the hand sanitizer bowl. To me, that one's it. It's between the hand sanitizer bowl and the Listerine Bowl from Tony Johnson. But I got to go with Nick Saban Jr. and that hand sanitizer bowl. Oh, my goodness. But appreciate the laughs coming from you, the Crimson Tide football family. Y'all just gave me one of my 3 hearty laughs a day. Give yourselves a hand. Y'all just gave your man one of my hearty laughs for the day. But as always, folks, you can check out tdaware.com. Once again, tdaware.com. Got to remind you of that. If you're still overjoyed with the Crimson Tide's national championship from the 2020 campaign, we want you to check out our championship collection merch. This means you grab you an 18 of them things, folk, hoodie, t-shirt, or sweatshirt, as well as our Got 18? We do shirts. Designs that feature all 18 championship years on the back. You head on over to tdaware.com. Do it right now. tdaware.com. You go over Championship Collections merch tab, and you get you that gear today, showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama magazine. But we look at now the wide receivers for the Crimson Tide. We've been getting so many updates, whether it comes from Nick Saban, whether it comes from Bryce Young, whether it comes from Bill O'Brien. We've been getting so many different updates on the young receivers. And the big question has been, with John Mechie out, who becomes the guy to have the breakout moment, the breakout game, the marquee situation, the huge opportunity, the huge opportunity to take advantage of in helping out Jameson Williams, because Alabama's got a lot of fantastic young weapons there on the outside. And first and foremost, you look at Ja'Cory Brooks and JoJo Earle. Bill O'Brien talked about it on yesterday. He said both of these two have really stepped up in bowl prep in the absence of Mechie. Going back to Bryce Young, he mentioned how Ja'Cory Brooks is becoming more defined, more technical, more precise in his routes. And we saw him against Auburn in the Iron Bowl make the big catch, 28-yard touchdown reception in the fourth quarter to tie the game at 10 to force overtime. You got to have it. You got to have it. You got to have it. Ja'Cory Brooks made the play there. And then where JoJo Earle is concerned, happy to see him back on the field. He has missed time since the New Mexico State game where he suffered a knee injury, did not play against Auburn, did not play against Arkansas, was dressed out for the SEC championship game against Georgia, but the coaching staff decided to hold him out. So he's 100%, he's healthy, he's good to go. And I think with his speed and his ability, that could be something fun there to watch. Then when I look at Trayshawn Holden, I just feel like this is his game. This sets up so perfectly for him. Going back to Monday when I talked about when Mechie got hurt against Georgia, it was Trayshawn Holden who tweeted at him, "I got your back." And Holden, Bryce Young, both roommates. The relationship goes back to their days in California in those high school camps. And at 6'3", 208 pounds, bigger body, got the routes, got the speed, has a ton of ability. This just sets up to be a huge game for him out there on the field. And we've seen him make plays. You go back to the Mississippi State game, 3 catches for 70 yards, including a 29-yard catch and raise to the house. We know Holden has it in him. So to me, I think this is his big moment. But the receiver everybody's talking about, the one everybody's enamored with, the one everybody just wants to see win and get on the field so badly, we're referring to the 5-star in Agiye Hall, the young man from Florida at 6'3", 195 pounds. And here's something here. There has been a lot of positive. There's been a lot of high remarks made about Hall in this bowl prep, in this semifinal prep here for the Bearcats. Whether the high remarks have come from Coach Saban, whether it's come from Bryce Young, whether it's come from Bill O'Brien, there's been a lot of high remarks here. All three have said, we've seen a lot of improvement. We've seen big improvement. He's looking good. He's looking good. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Bryce Young talked about it, getting more comfortable on the routes, more comfortable on the deep patterns, more comfortable at the timing routes. Like Hall is really stepping this thing up. And when you have coaches and players speaking in code like this, of course, U.S. fans are like, what does this mean? Oh, my gosh, what does this mean? Are we going to get to see Hall? Is Hall going to go on the field? What does this mean? Everybody's trying to figure out, what does this mean? Does this mean that 84 Hall gets on this field for some good, strong playing time against Cincinnati? We're all crossing our fingers here for Friday because, and I'm not trying to bring the biblical standpoint to the table, but just growing up here in a strong faith-based family here, I've always known when something's been said by 3 people or more, you can bank it as the truth, right? So we've heard this from Nick Saban about Hall. We've heard this from Bryce Young about Hall. Now here comes Billy O'Brien saying this about Hall. That's 3 people talking about the improvement this young man has made and the progress and the production and him performing well in these practices for Cincinnati. Can we see the man from the spring game on the field on the biggest stage in college football? We are keeping our fingers crossed for Friday because I would love to see Hall get out there, put in work, do his thing, and craft the narrative of he is that good. He is that electric. He is that dynamic. I understand he has had some things off the field and that he's had to deal with and get around and adjust to and mature in, but if Saban can have this man on the field, this young brother on the field, it could be something really, really, really cool to watch here on Friday. But we're going to keep our fingers crossed on that note there. But folks, as always, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store. If you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, we got you taken care of. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We got you covered. As always, Tide fans, can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link in the description. If you're also trying to get the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com, you click join, become a member, a subscriber today. That link in the description. We got more super chats to get to the end of the show. How about Agar Thomas with that 50-piece in here? Appreciate the love from Agar Thomas. And Tobias Brookins, my man from Fresno, West Coast, man, with the $10 donation, making this his show, his network, his platform to talk Bama football. Also, Tide fans, if you're trying to get that four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com, that link in the description as well. Remember, people, we will not have a show on Friday in terms of In My Own Words. I will be in Texas covering the game between Alabama and Cincinnati. But our own John Ivory and Justin Smith, they will be in studio for the watch party. Get in on the YouTube channel, chat amongst your friends, chat amongst your family, chat amongst your people as the Crimson Tide take on the Bearcats. But as always, people, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands, children. You know what you gotta do? Continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, legitimate thing, to not be bored. You get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. As always, you protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, people, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. You've been listening to In My Own Words.